Hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln. Welcome to Oklahoma Sports Scene. I'm here on Cox Cable statewide in the state of Oklahoma. Big show for you this week. We wrap up the first big week of college football and a perfect week for our Big Four. All started with Oklahoma State beating Tennessee Martin 27-7. Then on the 30th, on Saturday, Arkansas rolled over Alabama A&M 52-7. OU beat Illinois State 35-3, and Tulsa took care of Abilene Christian in the first game for Coach Lamb. They won 35-7. Here's the schedule for this weekend for the Big Four. 2:30 Oklahoma State on CBS at Oregon. At 4 p.m. Arkansas State. It plays at Arkansas, ESPN+. 6:30 the big game, Michigan at OU. That will be on ABC National, 6:30 p.m. 8 p.m. Tulsa goes to their second win in the season. They're at New Mexico State on ESPN+. Here's our guest list, though, for our first week now of September. Tulsa World Executive Sports columnist Barry Tramel gives us his take on the first week of college football and grades our Big Four teams. Our Michael Knight has a review of Week 1 of high school football, featuring the State 6A1 Championship rematch between Bixby and Owasso. Norm Hitzges, longtime Dallas Radio Hall of Famer, has a preview of the 106th National Football League season. Kicks off this week. Also a closer look at the Dallas Cowboys. And Bray Lewis, Tulsa Drillers beat writer for the Tulsa World, joins us to preview a crucial Final Road series for the Drillers this week, trying to make the playoffs. But first, here's our Tulsa World hot topics. United Soccer League play last Saturday. FC Tulsa saw its 14-match unbeaten streak end with a 2-0 loss to defending league champion Colorado Switchbacks. This Saturday, September 6th, FC Tulsa hosts Birmingham Legion FC. It's the only home match for the entire month of September. Tulsa Drillers, fighting for a Texas League playoff spot, took 5 of 6 from Corpus Christi this past week at One Oak Field, next to last home stand of the 2025 Texas League AA season. Drillers are in position now to make the Texas League Championship Series with a second-half record of 34-23. They're 2 games behind first-half champion Springfield, but 2 games ahead of Wichita with a crucial 6-game series this week in Wichita. We're coming back to Tulsa for the final regular season series against Arkansas. ESPN's final college football game day show for Lee Corso was held this past week, Saturday at Columbus, Ohio, before the big Ohio State-Texas game. Corso's been with ESPN since 1987. He's famous for ending the game by putting on the mascot of the team he chooses to win the football contest. Well, Saturday was his 431st headgear pick, and just like his first one, he picked the Buckeyes, and he was right. Lee's final total, by the way, 287 hits and 144 misses. Lee Corso is 90 years old. And did you hear what head coach for OU, Brent Venables, did? This past week, he donated $1 million of his 2025 salary back to the university to help with the team's NIL revenue sharing program, investing in his players' future and his own as well. Next, Tulsa World Sports columnist Barry Tramel with his take on the first week of college football 2025. Right back.
Our story. It lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa World, is where it comes to life.
The Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town, is the only place you can skate like the pros. With 2 rinks, there's always time to strap on the blades and hit the ice. The Wee Street Ice Center at 43rd and Yale is your family fun destination. Try out the game simulator rooms or hit the arcade. When you get hungry, grab a bite at Puck's Sports Bar and Grill with delicious food, great drink specials, and more. It's Midtown Tulsa's coolest entertainment center. Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town. Come get your skate on.
Thoroughbred season at Remington Park is underway with great winning action Thursday through Saturday at 6 p.m. Make plans now for Oklahoma Derby Day, Sunday, September 28th. The lone Sunday afternoon of the season begins at 3 p.m. with the richest race of the season, the Grade 3 $400,000 Oklahoma Derby, as the headliner. Visit RemingtonPark.com for all post times, group rates, and dining reservations. The best racing, simulcast racing, and nonstop jackpot casino action is at Remington Park.
Baseball, fireworks, food, family. It's all in Tulsa at One Oak Field. Score your Drillers season membership today with plans and prices fit for every fan. It's all in Drillville for 2025.
We're joined now by Tulsa World Executive Sports columnist Barry Tramel. Very clean sweep for the Big Four. Let's start with Oklahoma State. Your thoughts on their performance last Thursday in their season opener?
Well, I thought it's pretty uneven. You know, you're playing a 1AA team, and probably want to play better offense than that. The Cowboys come out looking good with Hoss Haney. Two scoring drives to start the game. His mobility is a difference maker for OSU. I think he threw much better than we thought, but then broken foot somewhere in the first quarter. He's sidelined, not just for the rest of that game, but going forward indeterminate amount of weeks. And OSU's offensive line still having trouble protecting, still having trouble producing creases in the run game. Makes a pocket passer like Zane Flores a little more susceptible. So, OSU gets a 27-7 victory, but that offense still is lacking. I thought the defense looked better, a little more spring in their step, able to tackle better. So some things to like, but not really much. When you look at the competition, it's about to go way up when you play in Oregon. So some things to like, but still, you'd like you were hoping for a little bit more out of particularly that offensive line.
Oklahoma State can continue some consecutive win streaks. So they're nation-leading 30 consecutive season-opening victories. A pretty good string there.
Yeah, it's some of that, or a lot of it is the schedule.
Right.
Some teams schedule their stiff non-conference game in the opener, but most don't. And week 2 is when you get, I'm thinking back to some of OSU's best opponents, Boise State, Arkansas last year. They come in week 2 or 3, but. The one thing about Mike Gundy is he often can surprise you. When you're thinking his teams are going to be down, they often rise up. And this is such a new team, just 50, 60 new players. I think 27 or 30 guys had never played before played for OSU the other night. So it's got the chance to still get better and improve and surprise us. But the quarterback loss, at least here in the next week or few, is going to be difficult because Hoss Haney did give OSU an element that it was missing, which is that quarterback run game that sort of evens out you're sort of in some ways you're playing 11 on 11 in the run game instead of 10 on 11. So I think they're going to miss Hoss Haney.
And next, of course, the trip to Eugene, Oregon, taking on the Oregon Ducks, ranked number 7 in the nation. What are you expecting there?
Well, the Ducks have become an annual power. I mean, they don't, every year they're going to be good. It's just a question of how good. Their quarterback situation is a little bit shaky because Dylan Gabriel has moved on, a Heisman finalist last year, and Dante Moore, young kid, second-year guy, is now the quarterback. We'll see if the Ducks can be as explosive as normal. But this program is on cruise control with Dan Lanning, and the talent is a big upgrade from what OSU has. It'll be a monumental task. Playing at Autzen Stadium, very difficult place to play. Oregon's a top 10 team. And I mean, the Ducks were 13-0 last season before losing to Ohio State in the Rose Bowl. So this was a big time team last year. It usually has been in the last 20 years. So I like some of the things I saw out of OSU, but it's just this is among OSU's last 20 years of non-conference scheduling. This is as tough of an assignment. In 07, OSU went to Georgia, but that Georgia was not the Georgia we see today. played defending national champion Florida State to open the 14 season down in Arlington, put up a really good game. But that Florida State team, they were playing in Jerry World. It was at least neutral. This going to the Pacific Northwest, going to Eugene, going to Autzen Stadium, very, very difficult assignment.
Oklahoma State at Oregon, be on CBS 2:30 our time here to watch. Now let's go to the Sooners, Barry, and your thoughts on the new look offense as they paid Illinois State $660,000 to come take a 35-3 beating. Your impressions of OU's first game?
Well, I liked everything I saw out of John Mateer. I don't know who couldn't. The Sooners needed a big-time quarterback, went out and got a big-time quarterback. Still some things a little bit worrisome. The offensive line did not produce much in the run game. And if you take out scrambles and sacks and a swing pass to Deion Burks that was ruled a lateral and thus a run, if you just count the true running plays, OU averages less than 3 yards a carry against Illinois State. That's not very good. That's not going to cut it. That offensive line has got to create more creases, more holes in the run game. And if that happens, then that's going to really help John Mateer. But, OU's offensive line the last 2-3 years has not been up to its normal standard. Until that changes back, I think there's some worry. Now the defense looked great, and I thought they were really dominant against a team they should dominate. Let's not pretend otherwise. It was not. Illinois State is a very good FCS team. I think they're ranked 6th nationally. Very solid 1AA program. But a school like Oklahoma should dominate Illinois State. So I needed to see more out of the run game, more out of the offensive line to get real excited about this Oklahoma offense.
But good news, John Mateer seemed to be, as advertised, very impressive. What happened to the running back in Cal, Ott?
Well, he hasn't practiced a ton in August. And I think, I don't know if he's in the doghouse. I don't know if they're just just saying our injury policy, don't practice, don't play, whatever that is. But he comes in as the 4th running back used in this game. Very strange. I'm sure some of it might be strategy, saving things from Michigan. But no, it's a little bit of a mystery why Ott was the 4th tailback to go in. And what we saw was a couple of the veteran tailbacks, Javante Barnes, Xavier Robinson didn't do much, but the freshman, Torrey Blaylock, looked lively and springy and really signed for the future. Unfortunately, he got hurt. Don't know the extent of that injury. He went out. He was the only guy that really produced, 8 carries, 44 yards. So I expect Jaden Ott to play more and more. Either that or, he may not be what they thought he was, or he may still be injured. We just don't know. It's a mystery. But for a guy with such hype coming in, he was voted 2nd team All SEC in the preseason poll, which I found pretty odd. I wanted to say there's not 4 running backs in the SEC returning with. I was stunned when I saw that, but people think a lot of him, league wide and across the nation. But something's not clicked yet, whether it's health, whether it's meshing, whether it's whatever. But that's one to keep an eye on, Jaden Ott.
Oklahoma, Michigan, 6:30 this Saturday, national telecast. ESPN Game Day is going to be there. 2 blue bloods battling. Everybody's been looking forward to this for a long time. Your thoughts on the Wolverines?
Well, this is an historic year in Norman, Chris. OU has been, of course, hosting big-time football games for 80 years and, other games for longer than that. But this season, there are 4 brands of college football that range from fairly iconic to absolutely iconic, making their own field debut. LSU has never played in Norman. Auburn has never played in Norman. Ole Miss has never played in Norman. Michigan has never played in Norman. All 4 of those teams are playing at Oklahoma this season. it's maybe the best season ticket in the history of Oklahoma football. And Michigan, out of those four, Michigan would rank at the top historically. The iconic uniforms, the fight song, the aura of the maize and blue. It's just a fabulous football tradition, a fabulous football heritage. And for these guys to meet for the first time on a campus, they played in the Orange Bowl 50 years ago this season. But for them to, we get to see the debut of a campus game between Oklahoma and Michigan, and of course the Sooners go to the Big House in Ann Arbor next year. But this is the first of a really special Oklahoma home schedule in 2025.
Right back with Barry Tramel to talk about the Hurricane and the Arkansas Razorbacks when we return on Oklahoma Sports Scene.
The Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town, is the only place you can skate like the pros. With 2 rinks, there's always time to strap on the blades and hit the ice. The Wee Street Ice Center at 43rd and Yale is your family fun destination. Try out the game simulator rooms or hit the arcade. When you get hungry, grab a bite at Puck's Sports Bar and Grill with delicious food, great drink specials, and more. It's Midtown Tulsa's coolest entertainment center. Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town. Come get your skate on.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family-owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories at our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on-site to assure the perfect fit so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
The Tulsa Whalers are fresh off another playoff season. Don't let the ice cool down. Get your season tickets now for next year and save big. Season tickets start as low as $19 per month. Get your tickets at TulsaOilers.com. That's TulsaOilers.com. Experience hard-hitting, glove-dropping, pulse-pounding, glass-rattling kind of thrill. Season tickets are available now starting at only $19 per month. TulsaOilers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Oilers hockey.
Welcome back to Oklahoma Sports Scene, our wrap-up of the first week of college football 2025 for our Big Four teams. Barry Tramel, Tulsa Rural Executive Columnist there. Barry, your thoughts on the impression that Trey Lamb's first job as head coach at Tulsa made on the victory Saturday, a very impressive win.
Yeah, I was very encouraged by the result of that game because Abilene Christian has been a really interesting 1AA team. They opened the season in 24, losing in overtime at Texas Tech. They'd played Texas A&M and Missouri the previous 2 years and hung pretty tough. So I was thinking, this is upset alert for Tulsa. Be careful. This is a team that could surprise you. Keith Patterson, the Oklahoman from Marlow, former TU defensive coordinator, had great Tulsa ties. Coached, I think, was it 9 years at TU. Met his wife at Tulsa. Really, really strong Tulsa ties. This game meant a lot to him. You knew he'd have his team ready. This was a game that the Golden Hurricane really had to hone in on, and I thought they came out and just did a wonderful job of taking command and controlling that game and winning 35-7. Nice victory to open the year. It's still a 1AA program. It's not, you can't get too many bells and whistles going in terms of, hey, this is a turnaround for TU, but this is exactly what all you could have hoped for from Tulsa. And it does show that, hey, the excitement, Trey Lamb, he has brought it back to Chapman Stadium. And the electricity, the excitement, all those things, he said that's what he was going to do. And he, one game in, he's done it. So congrats to Trey Lamb and those guys. It looks like a potentially exciting year there at TU.
Yeah, 2 very impressive goal line stands. Really stepped the defense's performance.
Yeah, and what's interesting, Chris, is we're seeing more and more defense sort of rise up. Defensive goal line stands you mentioned, we're seeing those in other games and throughout college football. It's, we keep saying it's become more and more like the NFL. Well, the NFL, scoring on the goal line is not automatic, and it's becoming that way in college. And if you can keep somebody out, which I'm not saying that Abilene Christian's offensive line is Alabama's, but if you can keep somebody out of the end zone on the goal line 2 plays in a row or 2 possessions in a game, those kinds of things bodes very well for your season. So the games are going to get a lot tougher starting even Saturday at New Mexico State. But the thing I like about Tulsa is, last season the games just got away from them so quick. They got avalanched. They lost so many by huge decisive margins, and to come out and have a commanding victory and big plays, even big plays in the special teams. August Davies with an 80-yard punt, for crying out loud, and then the goal line stands. Lots to like about that Tulsa victory.
Go to Fayetteville now. The Razorbacks open to the expected very big margin win over Alabama A&M, wherever they are, 52-7. At the start of that Razorback quarterback looked awfully good. Those 6 touchdown passes.
Yeah, Taylor Green's a playmaker, and he's too much for a team like Alabama A&M. He threw for 322 yards, I think, and a little bit of a slow start for Arkansas. It was 10-7 after 1 quarter, but the Razorbacks broke away and did some dominating. And that's what they needed to do because they've got Arkansas State and a really emotional game this Saturday. But after that, schedule really beefs up for the Hogs. This is a very good non-conference schedule. The last 2 games are at Memphis, very very difficult, and then of course Notre Dame. So these 2 games are Alabama A&M, Arkansas State. Sam Pittman's team needs to hone in, get things batted down, worked out, and then meet the teeth of this schedule. But yeah, you should dominate and rout a school like Alabama A&M, and that's what Arkansas did.
All right, Brad, get your thoughts on the overall opening week of college football. 4 of the top 10 teams lose. Number 1, Texas. Number 4, Clemson. Number 6, Notre Dame. The big shocker, number 8, Alabama.
Well, here the Alabama one is fascinating. The others, they're playing top 10 teams. We were guaranteed 3 top 10 losers. What struck me was the rise of the defenses. We've seen really defenses control the game. We've seen low scores. You look at Texas and Ohio State, 14-7 game. Even some of this lower games, Nebraska Cincinnati 2017, Kansas State Iowa State over in Dublin. I mean, nobody could do anything for 3 quarters. Ended up 24-14, but then LSU Clemson, low scoring. And so I think we've seen the return of defenses, and I think that's something to keep an eye on. But the outlier was Alabama, Florida State. That was an amazing game. Alabama keeps the ball 9 minutes, punches it in to start the game, and you thought they're just going to clean this clock at Florida State. Instead, here comes the Seminoles, and Florida State dominates the rest of the game. A team that went 2-10 last year, got a Boston College retread at quarterback who shoots his mouth off in the offseason and say, hey, they don't have Nick Saban anymore. I'm not scared. And then he goes out and backs it up. I thought it was an amazing thing to behold. So I really applaud Florida State, and maybe the Seminoles are somebody we have to take a look at, and it sort of changes the narrative. Here's one for you, Chris. Who knew that by the second week of the season in the state of Alabama, Hugh Freeze at Auburn would have more job security than Kalen DeBoer at Alabama. I mean, Auburn goes to Baylor, and Jackson Arnold looks like a pretty good quarterback, and Baylor goes down to Auburn. So lots of fun things already in college football. So it looks like it's going to be a really good fun season.
let's wrap this, Barry, with your letter grades for our Big Four teams. OU, OSU, Tulsa, Arkansas. What are the very Tramel grades?
Um, I'll give OU a B. I'll give OSU a C. Give Tulsa an A. I'll give Arkansas a B. No, I don't pass out too many A's when you're playing 1AA opponents. Made an exception for Tulsa because I thought that was a game that could really have been problematic and wasn't. So everything's about to get way more interesting when you look at Oregon and Michigan, eventually Notre Dame for Arkansas. Tulsa's about to hit a stretch of really good teams from the American. Also a trip to Stillwater. So it's about to get even tougher on those teams, but pretty solid report cards week one.
Barry Tramel, executive sports columnist, Tulsa World, joining us hopefully always this during the week here. And Barry, thanks again for your insight, and look forward to week 2 with you.
You bet, Chris.
I come right back with our Michael Knight and high school football recap on Oklahoma Sports Scene.
The Tulsa Whalers are fresh off another playoff season. Don't let the ice cool down. Get your season tickets now for next year and save big. Season tickets start as low as $19 per month. Get your tickets at TulsaWhalers.com. That's TulsaWhalers.com. Experience hard-hitting, glove-dropping, pulse-pounding, glass-rattling kind of thrill. Season tickets are available now starting at only $19 per month. TulsaWhalers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Whalers hockey.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's formal wear and fine clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories at our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on site to assure the perfect fit so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's formal wear and fine clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
Pitch, Casey lines it down the left field line. Drillers win!
Baseball, fireworks, food, and family, it's all in Tulsa at One Oak Field. Score your Drillers season membership today with plans and prices fit for every fan. Whether you want to catch every game or select nights, we know you will have a great time at the ballpark. We're proud to offer a variety of membership options, so don't wait. Contact a Drillers rep who will personally help you find the right plan for you. It's all in Drillville for 2025.
The Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town, is the only place you can skate like the pros. With 2 rinks, there's always time to strap on the blades and hit the ice. The Wee Street Ice Center at 43rd and Yale is your family fun destination. Try out the game simulator rooms or hit the arcade. When you get hungry, grab a bite at Puck's Sports Bar and Grill with delicious food, great drink specials, and more. It's Midtown Tulsa's coolest entertainment center. Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town. Come get your skate on.
Well, the 2025 Oklahoma high school football season is underway. Week 0 here, and who better to wrap it up for us than Michael Knight and Thomas Walkingsstick. They were at the big game of Owasso and Bixby and have a full report. What a game. Welcome, Michael.
Yeah, it was fun to get the season kicked off. I was joking with some of the coaches on the field beforehand. The off season always feels like, it's short and long at the same time. I joked with Thomas. It felt like just yesterday we were leaving Edmond with the final state championship games of the 2024 season. But at the same time, man, it feels like a long time since we've had high school football here in Oklahoma. So what better way to kick off the season than with Bixby and Owasso? Bixby showing why they're the defending champs, showing why they've won 10 titles in the last 11 years. They came out strong. They struck fast. They struck early, dominating defense. And just like we've seen from teams that have played Bixby over the last several years, things just snowballed for Owasso. You give up a touchdown, you have a 3 and out, you kick it back to Bixby, they go right down and score. And just like that, in the blink of an eye, you're down by 2 or 3 touchdowns. And that's what happened on Thursday night. And, talking with Lauren Montgomery after the game on Thursday, it seemed like, whenever you have these week 0 games, especially a game like that, where it's a rematch of last year's state championship game, everybody remembers how it finished and how it ended and the drama that unfolded. You never really know what's going to happen in that first game of the year, a rematch of an instant classic. And Coach Montgomery was obviously very pleased with how his team started.
What a performance by the Bixby Spartans, and those are other big games during week 0. And what else do you have for us, Michael?
Yeah, so we had some highlights from several games in week 0. Down in Southern Oklahoma, defending 4A champion Elgin got their season off with a 42-21 win over Lawton MacArthur. Their star running back, Ritson Meyer, had a big game, 5 touchdowns on the ground. That was a big win for the defending 4A champs. Obviously, they won their first state title in school history last season, and now they're looking to win another one this fall. Me personally, I was in Edmond on Friday night. I started my night at Edmond Santa Fe to watch the Adam Gaylor era officially take off with the Jinx Trojans, and they had no problems. KD Jones over 200 yards of total offense, 5 touchdowns on the night. Jinx rolled to a 51-7 win. I kind of thought that game would get out of hand, so I made plans to go over at halftime. About 5 miles down the road to Edmond Memorial. They were hosting Del City. And I made a mistake last week saying that I didn't think that it was going to be as much of a blowout as we saw last year. Edmond Memorial beat Del City 35-0 last season. And I was like, I think it's going to be more competitive. Right out of the gate this season, I'm wrong. It was 35-0 for the second straight year. I couldn't be more wrong than I was last week. But hey, we'll get it righted, and we'll have a better preview moving forward. But no, Edmond Memorial looked really good. Defensively, they're strong. They were one of the better 6A1 teams in the state last season. They made it to the semifinals, and they could be a team that makes some noise in 6A1 again this season. But overall, it was a really fun night, a really fun opening week of high school football across the state of Oklahoma. Tuttle got a huge win over Guthrie. That was a matchup between the runner-up in 4A and the runner-up in 5A, and 4A was superior last week. So a lot, like I said, a lot of really good football being played. But now, as we shift gears to week 1, almost everybody is going to be playing this week. So it's a very exciting time around the state.
Hey, I mentioned Michael. I was at Trey Lamb, the new TU football coach's press conference today, and he pointed out that Bixby, he said, is now nationally ranked number 2 in the entire nation.
Yeah, and that's, you always take national rankings when it comes to high school football with a grain of salt. But it's awesome to see them recognized nationally because, look, I think everybody in the state of Oklahoma at this point knows how special Bixby is and how special this run that they're on truly is. But to see them get that kind of recognition where you're considered the second best team in the nation when it comes to high school football. Now, does that mean that they would beat every single other team ranked in the top 25 below them? Probably not. I mean, there's some really good football being played out there, especially down in Texas or Florida or Georgia, California, wherever. But to have that recognition is huge for Bixby. And honestly, it's huge for Oklahoma high school football. It puts a brighter spotlight on this state, which for so many years, we hear the term all the time, flyover state. And I think that Oklahoma has established that it's not that anymore. There's really good talent here, both at the individual level, but also at the team level, with Bixby being ranked number 2 nationally.
Michael Knight, PrepRedZone.com. What are your plans this weekend and again the first full week of September with high school football?
Yeah, like I said, some really good games coming up this week. We have matchups all over the state. In the Tulsa area, you have Jinx going on the road to face Owasso. Owasso trying to bounce back from that week 0 loss to Bixby. That's going to be a good game. Just a few miles south of Owasso is Lincoln Christian hosting Heritage Hall. That's a huge 3A rivalry. They always meet in the playoffs. Now they're meeting in the regular season. Both teams had shutout victories last year. That's number 1 Lincoln against number 3 Heritage Hall. Lincoln, by the way, has won 29 straight games, so trying to keep that winning streak intact. On Thursday night, I'm going to go see the Hominy Bucks out in northern Oklahoma. They're one of the top teams in Class A2 as they kick off their season. But then on Friday night, I'm going to Sulphur, Oklahoma, where the number 2 ranked Bulldogs in Class 3A, last year's 3A runner-up, will be hosting the Washington Warriors. Washington is the top-ranked team in 2A1. They've won 3 straight state championships. They've won 45 consecutive games. If they go undefeated this season, which would mean they're 14-0 this year, they will tie Bixby's record for the longest winning streak by an 11-man program in state history. But Sulphur gave them their toughest game last season and went to double overtime, but Washington survived. So I'm not missing the rematch. I'm going to Sulphur to see them take on the Bulldogs. That should be a very fun game on Friday night.
Nobody covers high school football in Oklahoma like Michael Knight in Prep Red Zone, Oklahoma. Michael, look forward to having you on the show next week as well. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to do it.
Okay, we're going to switch to NFL football. The NFL season kicks off this week. Norm Hitzges down in Dallas has a preview.
The Tulsa Whalers are fresh off another playoff season. Don't let the ice cool down. Get your season tickets now for next year and save big. Season tickets start as low as $19 per month. Get your tickets at TulsaOilers.com. That's TulsaOilers.com. Experience hard-hitting, glove-dropping, pulse-pounding, glass-rattling kind of thrill. Season tickets are available now starting at only $19 per month. TulsaOilers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Oilers hockey.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's formal wear and fine clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories at our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on site to assure the perfect fit so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's formal wear and fine clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
Pitch, Casey lines it down the left field line. Drillers win!
Baseball, fireworks, food, and family, it's all in Tulsa at One Oak Field. Score your Drillers season membership today with plans and prices fit for every fan. Whether you want to catch every game or select nights, we know you will have a great time at the ballpark. We're proud to offer a variety of membership options, so don't wait. Contact a Drillers rep who will personally help you find the right plan for you. It's all in Drillville for 2025.
The National Football League kicked off its 106th season this week. We're joined by a veteran of the NFL wars, Norm Hitzges, a great friend, Dallas Radio Hall of Famer for, can it be, half a century? Norm, good to have you on the show again, as always, my friend.
And you too, buddy. How are you?
Doing good. Well, it's another NFL season. A lot of more questions about those Dallas Cowboys, but some of your thoughts overall on this pro football season getting underway.
Well, Chris, pro football is really competitive now. It used to be you'd get to a season and there might be 4 teams that could win the Super Bowl. And for about 15 years, Chris, they were all in the NFC. But now you look around the landscape and let's just stay in the NFC, Chris.
Yeah.
Eagles, yes. Lions, yes. Packers, yes. Rams, yes. And then you get to the borderline teams, Washington, Tampa. I think the league is leery of a reconstructed and healthy San Francisco team. But it's much more competitive than it used to be. We never used to go 7 teams deep in the NFC. And look at the AFC. Very similar situation, Chris. And picking a winner is very, very difficult at this time of the year. My thoughts is that Baltimore's finally going to get over the hump. But that's pretty much a guess, Chris.
Well, one thing's for sure, Norm, as usual, Jerry Jones and Dallas Cowboys stole the preseason news.
Chris, this has been building for months. And weeks ago, we're talking 5 weeks ago on my podcast, I said, hey, pay attention here. The Cowboys could trade Micah Parsons. Chris, this trade fulfilled a need for the Cowboys. I believe they realized they were going to trade Micah Parsons maybe even as much as 3 months ago, Chris. And here's why. This club had, I'm going to use the word mismanaged, their salary cap. They're overpaying people to the point where the cap gets tighter and tighter and tighter. With every dollar you commit to someone else, that's less you have to pay to the remaining members of your team. Chris, let's look at the Cowboys from this angle. Next year alone, without Micah Parsons, Dak Prescott will count $74 million against the cap. They kicked the can down the road again, and he's now a $74 million player. CD Lamb is a $38 million player. Tyler Smith, even playing out his option, is a $21 million player. Odigizua, the tackle, a $20 million player. Terrence Steele, the offensive tackle, an $18 million player. And Trayvon Diggs, the cornerback, a $17 million player. Chris, this is 6 players who will count $188 million against the cap. And the cap is projected at $307 million next year. And now let's take Parsons. Let's say you wanted to sign him, Chris. Wait a minute. At $45 million, that would have brought you to $233 million committed under the cap for 7 players. That would have left you $70 million to pay your other 46 players. Chris, that is absolutely impossible. That cannot happen. Well, no, wait. It can happen, Chris. If you then kick the can down the road, redo contracts, force more money into the future, but that's how the Cowboys got themselves in that terrible problem last year. They were in salary cap hell. They couldn't afford to pay anybody to help fill holes on their team. And Chris, I honestly believe this. I think this thing got nasty and personal between the Cowboys and Micah because the Cowboys knew that was part of the plan. They had to make the public think the agent was wrong here and that Micah was wrong here. They had to make the public think that Micah went back on a handshake deal. Nobody in Texas goes back on a handshake deal, Chris. Yeah. And then Jerry tells us he doesn't negotiate with agents. I mean, come on. We weren't born yesterday. Of course he negotiates with agents. And thus, the Cowboys worked themselves into a position where they could trade Micah Parsons and perhaps create the image that they should share the blame with Parsons and his agent, David Mulligetta.
Well, we're going to get more in depth with the Cowboys next week after we see their opening performance against the Philadelphia Eagles, the defending Super Bowl champions, and debut of Coach Brian Schottenheimer. But as you look at the NFL overall, who are your teams to beat, and who do you think may end up in Super Bowl 60 in next January?
I think Green Bay elevated itself greatly with the addition of Parsons. What Green Bay lacked was a star on defense, and they lacked a real pass rush on defense. And Parsons gives them that. Over in the AFC, I like Baltimore, but there are a lot of teams over there. Buffalo, I see, as the prime contender. I wonder if Kansas City isn't going to fall off just a little bit this year after being a Super Bowl loser.
Norm Hitzges, somebody does it better for half a century. Hard to believe, Norm. Look forward to talking to you throughout the NFL season. Hopefully next week we'll delve more into the Dallas Cowboys and that epic Netflix series on Jerry Jones. Quite a production. Look forward to it, Norm. Thanks, buddy, for joining us.
Me too, Chris. See you next week.
Okay, we'll go right back with more Oklahoma Sports Scene after this timeout.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
Our story. It lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa world, is where it comes to life.
Pitch, Casey lines it down the left field line. Drillers win!
Baseball, fireworks, food, and family, it's all in Tulsa at One Oak Field. Score your Drillers season membership today with plans and prices fit for every fan. Whether you want to catch every game or select nights, we know you will have a great time at the ballpark. We're proud to offer a variety of membership options, so don't wait. Contact a Drillers rep who will personally help you find the right plan for you. It's all in Drillville for 2025.
And we're back on Oklahoma Sports Scene. Into baseball now, the Tulsa Dogs are fighting for a playoff spot. Who knows better than that? Barry Lewis, Tulsa World Sports Editor, and of course, longtime beat writer for the Tulsa Dogs. Barry, this team has turned things around since that first half season.
Yes, they really have. In the first half of the season, at one point, there were 18 games under 500. And now in the second half, they've really turned it on. They're in position to make the playoffs if they can keep going and have a strong final 2 weeks. It's really been an interesting turnaround.
Barry, they're coming off a heck of a home series. They took 5 of 6 from Corpus Christi to really keep them in the race. But Springfield and the team right behind them, Wichita, just keep winning too.
Yeah, so Tulsa's got no choice but to keep winning as they go into the 6-game series at Wichita this week. I think you talk about magic numbers. I think for Tulsa, you go into that series, and right now you would take a split of that series right now. If you could go in there and at least win 3 games, that would put you in great shape to get into the playoffs. Anything less than that, it's gonna be tight in that last week.
Barry, what's made the difference with this team in the second half under the new manager Eric Wedge?
Well, there are a few things, and I talked with Eric after last night's game, and a big thing is the Dustin May trade that at the Major League trading deadline, when the parent Dodgers traded Dustin May to Boston, Boston sent 2 really good outfield prospects. And those outfield prospects, former Oklahoma State player Zach Earhart and James Tibbs III, were sent to Tulsa. And the addition of those 2 players really, it's not a coincidence that the Drillers went 18-9 in August, their best month of the season, and that coincided with when those 2 joined the team. They've just made a huge difference. And as Eric would also say, the players that have been with them all season long, they're also playing better, doing the little things better. So they just needed a boost, and they got it with the addition of those 2 players, plus a couple of other additions. And then Christian Suarez out of the bullpen has just been lights out. 15 consecutive scoreless outings over 25 innings. Wow. And because the bullpen was a big problem early in the season for the Drillers, it's been pretty good lately. And because you can't get into the playoffs if you've got a leaky bullpen all the time. And the bullpen has stabilized, and they've got a couple of guys, including Christian Suarez, who have been really good down there.
Well, that big series going on this week in Wichita. Then we come back for the final home stand of the regular season. Important one again, starting September the 9th, Tuesday through Saturday, 6 games against Arkansas. That's a team they're trying to hold off. And also big playoff implications there in that series.
Well, if the Drillers take care of business at Wichita, then they would control their own destiny going into that Arkansas series. And that's where you hope you are. You're hoping that you're leading by at least 2 games for that final playoff position going into that final series against Arkansas.
And talking to Brian Carroll, a lot of big promotions on the final week. They kind of roll out everything. A lot of fireworks shows. There's an Oklahoma City Thunder Appreciation Night. There's a Harry Potter night. A lot of things going on at One Oak Field.
Yes, there are. They've got the Thunder Night celebrating their championship on Friday, September 12th. And that's always a fun, they always have Thunder Night every year, and that's always a very fun night. And of course, the fireworks shows Nobody does fireworks shows like the Tulsa Drillers. I've been to fireworks shows all over in ballparks, in major and minor league across America, and no one does fireworks shows better than the Tulsa Drillers.
And Sunday's that fan appreciation night. So if Tulsa does make the playoffs, I understand it'll start here, right, on September the 16th at ONE Field, Game 1, best of 3 against Springfield.
Yes, and then if they can beat Springfield, that would be a big if. Although once you get to the playoffs, especially the best of 3, anything can happen. And then if they can advance past Springfield, which is having an incredible season, it is so rare to win for a team to win both halves, which it looks like they're going to do. Then you would play the Texas League Championship Series. I believe that would start on the Sunday, the 21st, and I think that would start in Tulsa. Not sure about that, but I think that's the way it plays out, and that would also be a best of 3.
Barry Lewis, Sports Editor, Tulsa World, always getting us all the information with the Tulsa Drillers. Again, thanks for joining us, man, on short notice here. Appreciate you being on with us, and we'll keep up to date with you here to help get those Drillers in the playoffs.
Always a pleasure, Chris.
All right, next we've got Oklahoma City for our Remington Race Report. That's right after this final break.
Thoroughbred season at Remington Park is underway with great winning action Thursday through Saturday at 6 p.m. Make plans now for Oklahoma Derby Day, Sunday, September 28th. The lone Sunday afternoon of the season begins at 3 p.m. with the richest race of the season, the Grade 3 $400,000 Oklahoma Derby, as the headliner. Visit RemingtonPark.com for all post times, group rates, and dining reservations. The best racing, simulcast racing, and nonstop jackpot casino action is at Remington Park.
Our story, it lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa world, is where it comes to life.
Baseball, fireworks, food, family. It's all in Tulsa at One Oak Field. Score your Drillers season membership today with plans and prices fit for every fan. It's all in Drillville for 2025.
We have had the first stakes races of the Remington Park season in weekend number 4. 2 divisions of the Oklahoma Stallions handicap restricted to 3-year-old fillies and 3-year-old colts and geldings who are offspring of registered Oklahoma Stallions. We'll start first with the fillies. First up, the fillies division of the Oklahoma Stallion handicap, a field of only 5. Caleb's Finest was the wagering favorite at 6-5 odds. They're off in the Oklahoma Stallion handicap for fillies. A little awkward start there by Secret Verse as they come into view, battling for the front. Vita Song has the early advantage from the outside. Caleb's Finest right there. Now Iran picks things up under Manrique and moves up into second as they get to the backstretch. Between runners, hiding for a moment was Flora Zora, now uncovered third. A neck better than Caleb's Finest. The back, Secret Verse, 4 off of it and trailing. 5 furlongs to go. Vita Song showing the way by a length and a half. Inside, Iran noses into second. Outside, Caleb's Finest right there third. Behind them fourth. Flora Zora with a half mile to go. Swinging out from behind traffic. Secret Verse ready to try and make a run now. As they leave the backstretch up front, Iran set to challenge inside of Vita's Song with 3 furlongs to go. Vita's Song by neck. Coming on, that is Flora Zora, third, just ahead of Caleb's Finest. At the back still, Secret Verse. Midway through the lone turn in this long sprint at the rail, Iran trying to run down Vita's Song. They're on even terms with a quarter mile to go. Here comes Flora Zora, 3 wide off the turn, race on. And the Oklahoma Stallion handicap for the fillies, 4 wide. Here's Caleb's Finest. Anyone's game at this point. Flora Zora now in front. Here comes Caleb's Finest, Iran, and Vita's Song battling still inside. Flora Zora with the advantage inside the 16th pole. One more push by Caleb's Finest. One big run from the back. Secret Verse. Flora Zora digging in. Flora's Aura will take the Oklahoma Stallion fillies handicap. Flora's Aura, an impressive first-time start for 2025. She takes the Oklahoma Stallion handicap for the fillies. Out of the barn of trainer Francisco Bravo. Bravo dominated the race. He had the trifecta. He also had Caleb's Finest, second, and third, Vita's Song. So all 3 out of his barn. Flora's Aura, first start of the year, and an impressive one. She paid $17.20 for the win. Renee Diaz with the big victory, taking the fillies handicap with Flora's Aura. On now to the Colts and Geldings division for the Oklahoma Stallion Handicap. A field of 10 heavily favored Colonel York at 1-2. They're off in the Oklahoma Stallion Handicap for the Colts and Geldings. We're beginning at the back for Gunny Highway. Running for the front, that's Cajun Stoops with a slight advantage right now over One Big Hoss. Now rolling toward the inside, Night Passage ready to engage for the lead. Night Passage inside, Cajun Stoops outside. They're neck apart. Settling in third, Zedekiah just outside of One Big Hoss. So the front four within a length and a half of each other. Gap of 3 to Cold Fact, another 4 to Colonel York outside of Cherokee Sunrise, 4 more to Hillbilly Up. Then Gunny Highway rolling inside at the rail, leaving Tucker Flats at the back, about 17 from the front, in the middle of the backstretch with a half mile to go. Up front, big battle continues. Night Passage, One Big Hoss. They're battling on. Now getting through at the rail. Here comes Cold Fact. Zedekiah behind runners. 3 furlongs to go. And at the rail, Cold Fact with a slight advantage now. Cajun Stoops backing up a bit. It is Cold Fact, Night Passage. Here comes Cajun Stoops refiring. Farther out, Zedekiah, and angling out. Colonel York needs room, and he's going to have to go 5 wide into the stretch. And the Colts and Geldings Oklahoma Stallion Handicap, 5 wide might work, though. Colonel York sweeps right to the front. Colonel York powers around the turn and rolls into the stretch, and just like that is out by 5 or 6, leaving Zedekiah and Cajun Stoops in his wake. Well back to Cold Fact, Cherokee Sunrise, and Night Passage. Colonel York in a romp. And the Oklahoma Stallion Handicap for the Colts Geldings. Colonel York with one of the most impressive 7 furlong efforts we've seen in a while here at Remington Park. Buried behind runners, Stuart Elliott had to angle out to find space, going 5 wide around the turn and into the stretch, and the wider distance and extra run, no trouble. Colonel York easily pulled away from the field and has a very bright future. Colonel York, second time this season winning at Remington Park, paid $3 as the heavy favorite, owned by Richard Chandler. Mindy Willis, the trainer. Stuart Elliott up for his second win on Friday night. New month now for Remington Park. We jump into September, racing on the 4th, 5th, and 6th, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. First race nightly, 6 p.m. Central. Thorough Enduro, the free online game worth big cash prizes and a trip to Las Vegas, is now ready to go for you. Go to RemingtonPark.com, click on the Thorough Enduro button, and register. The game begins on September 11th. Grand prize for eligible players, the NHC National Horse Players Championship, a seat in Las Vegas next March 2026, plus cash prizes. Mark your calendar for Oklahoma Derby Day, Sunday, September 28th, the only Sunday of the season. First race will be 3 p.m. The headline event, the Oklahoma Derby. Big events on track for the guests, Hat and Tie Style Contest, Wine Tasting Festival, and much, much more. Oklahoma Derby Day, September 28th. At Remington Park in Oklahoma City, I'm Dale Day. Now back to Sports Scene.
Join us next week here on Oklahoma Sports Scene. We'll review the big week of college football with Barry Tramel again of the Tulsa World. They have his grades out for the Sooners, the Cowboys, the Hurricane, and the Razorbacks. Michael Knight back with a week 2 of high school football to wrap up the big action there. And Texas Radio Sports Hall of Famer Norm Hitzges joins us again on the show to talk all things Dallas Cowboys. All that next week on Oklahoma Sports Scene. Until we see you then, always a reminder, be a good sport.